Baya bo. Rejoice and be glad in it. That is what I can say. Amen. Let us kindly do take your seats. This is a short program, and at this moment, I'm going to call and request the governor of the Bank of Botswana, Ray Kop, to come and give us the welcome remarks.
The Vice President of the Republic of Botswana and also Minister of Finance, Ndaba Nkosinathi Gaolatlhe. Your Permanent Secretary, Dr. Tsugulugo Khanetsano, used to be my deputy. The Chief Executive of the Botswana Stock Exchange, Opa Monyatsi. Chief Executive of the Botswana Bond Market Association, Buikanyo Nkosinathi. Representative of the Standard Bank, if they are present here. Chief Executive Officer, Bank Association of Botswana, Mr. Mabusa. Haven't seen you, but if you are present here or your rep. And certainly Chief Executive Officers of all financial institutions in Botswana and others. By Mbatlotla, our esteemed investors, development partners, if they are present here, the bank's Director of Financial Markets, May Baitsenotse Mopelwa, and your team, staff of the Bank of Botswana, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. That our ceremonies, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this important engagement, the Investor Roadshow, which is dedicated to the marketing and promotion of Botswana government securities. I'm honored and privileged to extend a warm welcome to each one of you to this bank premises. You are all welcome as valued domestic and international investors, development partners, market participants, stakeholders. Since the facilities, including these premises, are a statutory protected area, sometimes we are a bit fussy as the bank and as security goes. But I hope and I trust that you were well received by staff and processed speedily as we came in. This event provides a valuable platform for direct engagement with you, investors, and others here present, investment community, to share Botswana's story, highlight recent macroeconomic developments, and showcase the compelling value proposition of Botswana's sovereign debt instruments. I'm here just to make welcome remarks, but the minister will lay the view of the landscape when it comes on here as to what we are offering as a government, as a sovereign. That our ceremonies, ladies and gentlemen, an investor roadshow is more than just a marketing pitch or marketing exercise. It is a dialogue that provides an opportunity to share Botswana's story, articulate our vision, and most importantly, listen to your perspectives. And we'll do so today and tomorrow in our boardroom discussions, bilateral boardroom discussions. We'll do that. That opportunity will arise. It is an opportunity to demonstrate with evidence and with candor the soundness of Botswana's macroeconomic fundamentals, our consistent fiscal discipline in the face of challenges, and the resolve to do that, and the attractive prospects offered by our sovereign debt instruments. Today, ladies and gentlemen, you'll gain insights on the structure and performance of our government bond market and other instruments. We'll appreciate the supportive policy environment. We'll get to hear about the investment opportunities that beckon to be taken. More importantly, I hope you will see that this is a market grounded in credibility, transparency, and long-term stability. Now, what is the role of the central bank here and the Minister of Finance and our partners? I'll just talk about the Bank of Botswana and Minister of Finance today, but the next 2 days, you'll get to interact with other partners. One of the partners is the Botswana Bond Association, the outfit that Bukanywa is heading up, and he will come here later and tell us what they're doing. Stock Exchange, the same. They have a partner in organizing this conference, and thank you very much to Standard Bank also in that regard. Now, as the central bank, the Bank of Botswana plays a key role in promoting monetary and financial stability. So that is really our mandate, cast out like that. And supporting the orderly function of financial markets, facilitating the development of a robust domestic capital market. Our collaboration with the Ministry of Finance, our mother ministry, in the issuance and administration of government securities underscores our shared commitment to enhancing fiscal transparency, deepening market participation, and maintaining investor confidence. That's our ceremonies. The objective of this roadshow is to present current and prospective investors with a clear and credible picture of Botswana's economic performance, public finance strategy, and sovereign financing instruments. We'll welcome your perspective, welcome your questions, welcome your proposals, suggestions on how we can work together to strengthen the securities market in this country. Let me touch a little bit on the economic fundamentals and policy framework. So allow me, the Director of Ceremonies, to highlight a few developments relevant for today's discussions over the next 2 days. First is the resolve of government to turn around this economy, given the situation that every country in this world is facing, the geopolitical and geofragmentation challenges that every country has, including developed countries. The minister announced the resolve of his governments in his budget speech earlier this year. Recently, the minister launched a strategy of intent in terms of the Botswana Economic Transformation Program. So there's no lack of intent, there's no lack of ambition from government in that regard. Fiscal consolidation by the government is firmly underway, but repurposing investments into areas that are game-changing for the economy. The fiscal position, as all of you know, which came under pressure due to subdued mineral revenues stemming from weak global demand, diamond demand, is being strengthened through expenditure restraint, enhanced revenue mobilization, and ongoing reforms aimed at improving efficiency in public finance management. The objective is clear: to return budget to a sustainable balance over the medium term, while creating the necessary fiscal space for investment in critical infrastructure and social development programs. For me, it's an imagination from government, imagination or reimagination of development and economic shift without diamonds. On the monetary side, the Bank of Botswana has remained focused on price stability. It's worked hard post-COVID to ensure that price stability is maintained, and you do that to ensure as a central bank that all prices, including monetary policy that affects interest rates, including exchange rate policy which affects trade, does not diverge too much from trend. That's basically what stability is in the short and medium term. Very difficult exercise to do. And as an average Botswana, as people, you will not notice this until you have an inflation problem. That's when people notice that price stability and financial stability are so important, now that we have lost them. So our inflation objective will remain within the 3 to 6%. It will go up a little bit this year and next year because of recent exchange rate price changes, because of other things. And this is all things equal, as we say, or ceteris paribus, as we say as economists, try to dodge so that if anything comes up, we can have an answer for it. But that's the reality of the world, of the economy. Our challenges, and we see positive. There's a silver lining in terms of the economic recession that we are going under. As a central bank, and certainly as the Minister of Finance, we think that it is not going to be a recession that will waste. We'll take advantage of it, see positivity in it, and run with it, the positive aspects of it. So there have been recent developments in the financial market, especially as it concerns our policy rate and effective interest rates prevailing in the market, particularly lending rates. This divergence has come about because of the cost of funding, which has led to overpricing of deposit by banks. And this has pushed lending rates higher than what is consistent with monetary policy stance. These things happen when you are running a free market economy. Now, two things can happen. The market and competition eventually equalizes all these fundamentals. The principal approach we take here as a regulator, as central bank, is moral suasion. In that regard, that's what we are doing currently. We're taking certain decisions without compromising regulatory overreach, but also moral suasion. That's what we do, because I said one of our mandates is financial stability. Doesn't say that we're a dovish regulator. When it comes to a push, we'll take further decisions and actions when things don't change. This situation poses a challenge for the efficient transmission of monetary policy. In response, the bank is implementing measures to improve alignment between market rates and monetary policy rate. These measures, just to cite a few, involve enhancing liquidity management operations to reduce excess volatility in short-term rates. Spoke about moral suasion, but that is chiefly achieved through strengthening communication with market participants to anchor expectations around policy stance. We work closely with commercial banks to ensure deposit pricing better reflects underlying funding conditions and the policy environment. The funding costs have been pushed up by funding concentration. So these are the things that we are looking at. Deepening the interbank market to encourage more competitive price discovery. Interbank market, since we took this decision, the interbank market in all aspects is there's promise there currently. Let me not say it is working well. Let me touch a little bit on the development of the domestic bond market. We are proud of the progress made in developing Botswana's domestic bond market and remain committed to enhancing both its depth and accessibility. Our issuance program includes treasury bills for short-term financing needs, alongside fixed coupon bonds across a range of maturities from 2 years to as long as 20 years. And this suits a broad spectrum of investor preferences. We conduct auctions on a monthly basis with an issuance calendar that is published in advance to give investors certainty and transparency. Looking ahead, the next phase of our bond market development strategy will focus on expanding the investor base, including increased foreign investor participation and exploring the introduction of new instruments, such as inflation-linked bonds, to meet the needs of different market segments. So, Director of Ceremonies, the ambition is upwards. The ambition is moving fast forward. What are the investment opportunities in the market? Botswana offers a compelling opportunity to both existing and prospective investors. Our bonds are underpinned by a stable and transparent policy environment, a credible fiscal framework, a strong institutional governance. Whether you are seeking long-term risk-adjusted returns, whether you are seeking portfolio diversification, Botswana's debt market provides a solid foundation for your investment strategy. We invite institutional investors, pension funds, banks, commercial banks, any bank, asset managers, and international development finance institutions to explore the range of instruments that we are offering. On behalf of this bank, the Bank of Botswana, and in partnership with the Ministry of Finance, I thank you for your interest. Thank you very much for coming up here today to spend time with us in the next today and tomorrow. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your participation. Let us use this opportunity to deepen our collaboration, explore new possibilities, and work together towards a more resilient and prosperous Botswana. I wish you productive and fruitful discussions and a successful roadshow. Thank you very much. Whilst I'm standing here, please allow me to invite the Vice President to come up here, sir, and provide us with your remarks.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Dr. Chairperson of the Botswana Board Market Association, Mr. Nkosinathi, and your Executive Committee, Chairperson of the Botswana Investment Professional Society, Mr. Mutsubi, senior government officials here present, Chief Executive Officers, Managing Directors of various financial institutions, Principal Officers and members of boards of trustees, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies, gentlemen, and men and women who may not be as gentle. I told a story the other day in the absence of the governor, and I think he needs to hear the story. I told a story of how whenever I talk to the president, and in our discussion over the phone, he says to me, "Hold on, let me come and join you at your office so we complete this conversation." My office at the Ministry of Finance. I have two offices. I would always say to him, hold it right there, Mr. President. I don't think it's a good idea for you to come here. I will come over and see you at your office. He says, no, it's okay. I'm on my way. I said, no, it's not okay. I'm coming to see you. And the reason I do that is because my office in the Ministry of Finance, at least by government standards, is much more elegant than our offices at the office of the president, and certainly more elegant than the president's office. So I don't want him coming to my office and then demanding to take over my office. But then I realized that whenever I talk to the governor over the phone, I would say to him, Mr. Governor, hold on, I'm coming over. He says to me, no, just hold it right there, I'll come over. And indeed, he always comes over. It was not until I came here for the first time and experienced the elegance of these premises that I realized why the governor has been so gracious. So these are indeed elegant premises. So ladies and gentlemen, I am deeply honored to welcome all of you to this inaugural non-deal show or roadshow. Today, we set a new benchmark for how government engages our nation's investment community. We open both our books and our minds for a two-way, data-driven conversation built on transparency, predictability, and accountability. Together, we aim to co-author a future where our capital markets are not merely mechanisms of finance, but true instruments of national progress. As the philosopher Antonio Machado once said, I quote, "Wanderer, there is no path. The path is made by walking. Your footsteps are the path," close quotes. Let us walk this path together, creating transparency that breeds trust, that deepens our local capital markets so that they may serve as the bedrock of inclusive growth and forge a legacy of financial transformation which is grounded not in proceeds, but in purpose. And today is not just about bridging gaps in financing. It's about building bridges of confidence between government and our domestic investors. Your presence signals a bold new chapter in market engagement and shared responsibility for Botswana's economic trajectory. The working group behind today's initiative comprising of the Ministry of Finance, the Bank of Botswana, the Botswana Stock Exchange, and the Botswana Bond Market Association, is not merely a committee, but a living testament to collaborative ingenuity. Our shared journey towards a resilient, inclusive, and transformative financial system is rooted in that synergy. The outcome of this event is to mobilize and operationalize positive initiatives going forward, and to build on the successes already achieved in our domestic markets. We have deepened the bond issuance program. We are publishing predictable auction calendar, and we are using your feedback to improve liquidity, price discovery, and participation. These are important achievements that strengthen our foundation. But while we celebrate these gains, we must also confront the realities of today. The economic landscape has changed significantly in recent years. For instance, since 2019, the global economy has experienced a series of challenges, including COVID-19 pandemic, geopolitical conflicts, extreme weather events, supply chain disruptions, and recently, the global trade reciprocal wars. Similarly, the domestic economy has faced serious headwinds, largely emanating from the external environment. Much of the transmission mechanism has been through the trade channel, particularly the diamond sector. This sector has, in the recent past, faced a prolonged downturn due to a confluence of factors, including subdued global demand for rough diamond, changing consumer preferences, declining prices, increased presence of lab-grown diamonds, and lower than expected sales, leading to huge inventories. Our economy has grown below its potential at only 2.6% real terms over the last decade, and generated minimal sustainable jobs. The downturn in the industry has also reduced the level of foreign exchange reserves, significantly so. And this low foreign exchange reserves potentially compromise the stability of our current exchange rate framework. On the fiscal front, the lowered mineral receipts have widened the mismatch between revenue collection and expenditure, elevating our financial needs. This has been worsened by other factors over time in the past, such as weak systems for prioritization and execution of development projects, archaic systems for procurement, suboptimal performance of most of our state-owned enterprises, among other reasons. These factors combined have put pressure on public debt levels, which have been rising, reaching about 31% of GDP as of July 2025. While this level is below our statutory limit of 40% of GDP, it remains unsustainable, looking at the trajectory of our public finances. Ladies and gentlemen, in this current environment, it is important that we conduct fiscal policy in a manner that is consistent with the current economic reality. I am happy, I am proud, I am optimistic as I announce that concrete signs are increasingly emerging, as the Governor has indicated, on how we are navigating the process of turning around this economy. We have started to bring rigor and discipline in our fiscal conduct. Preliminary data shows that spending levels in the 24-25 financial year was lower when compared to that of the 23-24 financial year, somewhat demonstrating our deliberate efforts towards expenditure restraint despite unavoidable obligations. I was wondering when that was going to come along. And furthermore, our first round of cost containment measures, which include the centralization of government purchase orders, have revealed a widespread systemic gross mismanagement of control measures across ministries and across departments and across agencies. And around the clock, our teams are ensuring that every pula is spent, or every pula spent goes strictly towards essential goods and services. Additional fiscal reforms, such as or premised on the payroll audit, the idea of wage bill management, government fleet management, and the process of repairing and restoring discipline in the process of supplementary budgets are currently underway. We will unpack these efforts in the upcoming midterm budget review statement. Broadening the tax base is also a major priority. And this is why in August 2025, government took a strategic decision to amend the Value Added Tax Act specifically to introduce taxation of remote services and to mandate electronic invoicing. This will enhance collection of value-added tax. We also intend in November 2025 sitting of Parliament to bring other pieces of legislation, including the comprehensive review of the Income Tax Act and the Value Added Tax Act, as well as the development of the new Tax Administration Act. We have also started the process of transforming our state-owned enterprises into sustainable engines of wealth creation across all sectors, including the meat industry, rail, air, regulatory, banking, and postal services. To mitigate this rapid decline of our foreign exchange reserves, as a responsible government, we took the bold and unpopular decision during midterm review of the exchange rate framework in July 2025. This included revising the current annual downward crawl from 1.51% to 2.76%. It included widening the trading margins from 0.5% to plus minus 7.5% for the remainder of the year, and maintaining the Pula basket of weights as 50% to the South African rand and 50% to the special drawing rights. Government is fully aware that borrowing alone is not sustainable. Far from it. Accordingly, we have begun instituting a number of reforms, a number of measures to support a sustainable fiscal path. Economic diversification is a big part of our economic north. It is no longer an intellectual debate, but an existential reality. We don't do it, we perish. Economic diversification is so much a big part of our way forward. And the newly launched Botswana Economic Transformation Program is designed to address structural economic constraints, reduce over-reliance on diamonds, and foster a diversified, export-led economy that creates quality employment for all our citizens. The BETP adopts the internationally recognized Pemandu's Big Fast Results methodology to translate national ambitions into executionable plans. Execution and more execution and ultra execution and super execution is our new mindset. Our choice of this Big Fast Results was driven by its laser focus on execution. For too long, Botswana has been celebrated for its ability to craft, to design, to write, to theorize, to speculate, to abstract well-structured policies. It is not a bad thing. Yet, we all know that our greatest hindrance has been the gap between ambition and delivery, the inability to consistently translate these policies into results on the ground. This Big Fast Results directly addresses this weakness, and unlike many frameworks that emphasize policy design, the methodology is unapologetically delivery-oriented, with built-in mechanisms for accountability, measurable milestones, and timely outcomes. It is a tool designed not for more theory, not for more abstraction. And by the way, I studied abstract mathematics. What we are saying, it is not time for abstract mathematics. It is time for delivery. This is how we will restore confidence among citizens. This is how we will restore confidence among investors. This is how we will restore confidence among partners that Botswana not only dreams boldly, but also delivers consistently. We understand that our vision must be matched with reform. We understand that this vision must be matched by reform in immigration, in land management and allocation, in procurement, and in the management and operations of our state-owned enterprises. All of these will not and should not be barriers. They should become gateways and enable us. We intend to modernize our laws, and we have started to modernize our laws and regulations so that investment flows swiftly, opportunities open widely, and innovation thrives. And as part of this vision, I am pleased to announce that today we will showcase projects emerging from this BETB laboratories. Many of these projects are investment ready and require funding. It is important that our local investors take a front row seat in the financing of these opportunities, not only to capture their full value, but also to reduce concentration risk and avoid a situation where government, through its development finance institutions, crowds out private capital. This is your opportunity to be the first movers in Botswana's economic transformation, where vision turns into investable reality. Ladies, gentlemen, men and women who are not as gentle. Given this context, your investment in government securities will provide a solid platform for this transition, enabling us to manage financing pressures responsibly while unlocking new growth opportunities. As our local investors, you are central to this strategy and have consistently demonstrated confidence in government securities. And going forward, government remains committed to further reforms that will enhance liquidity in the secondary markets, reforms that will strengthen price discovery, reforms that will diversify instruments available to investors, and reforms that will broaden participation, particularly among retail investors. In closing, and I'm certain you were looking forward to the closing, I invite all of us to work together to unlock the full potential of our capital markets for the current and future generations of this country. I thank you for your attention. I thank you for your confidence. And I thank you for your conviction in walking this path with us. And as Machado reminded us, the path is made by walking. Let us walk together. And let me walk away, Mr. Governor, before I take over your premises and give you the Ministry of Finance as the new Bank of Botswana. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again, Vice President and Minister of Finance. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on time. It's 9:28, so we are really doing well. So the markets should do well. At this juncture, we have the chairperson of the Botswana Bond Market Association, Rebuikanyo Presidency, a former classmate, a lawyer, an entrepreneur in the finance and banking arena. So VP Presidency is not just a former classmate. He's managed to raise capital, which this country needs, and a lot of capital, close to 2 billion for SOEs and sovereigns. So, Rare Presidency, can you come and give us a vote of thanks so that people can go and work?
Good morning, everyone. All protocol observed. I ordinarily relish any opportunity to say thank you. It's only 2 words, thank you. and then I can retire comfortably to my seat. However, context is important, so I'll provide context. His Excellency President of the Republic of Botswana, Advocate Duma Gideon Boko, expressed a very clear desire in his presentation on transforming Botswana for inclusive growth, to reform local capital markets, to facilitate financing for both public and private sector projects in local currency, enabling businesses and the government to access affordable funding for critical projects. And as the chairperson of the Botswana Bond Market Association, I couldn't agree more. The objective of this non-deal roadshow is to rebuild investor confidence in the domestic bond market by addressing the information asymmetry that exists between the issuer, being the government on the one hand, and allocators of capital, being the Botswana Bond Market Association members, on the other hand, through dialogue. Non-deal investor roadshows are nothing new. In fact, they are global best practice to gauge investor appetite for securities that are issued. It's become quite apparent that the undersubscription of government securities at recent auctions is the direct result of a lack of alignment between the expectations of the issuer, being the Botswana government, and the allocators of capital. This creates a negative perception of the credit quality of the Botswana government and cannot and should not be allowed to continue. Financial markets are by their very nature confidence sensitive. The rapidly changing fiscal environment requires regular investor dialogue, not only to ensure more realistic outcomes for purposes of planning and delivery of critical government programs, but also to help build investor confidence and interest in the securities issued. Equally, our members bear a huge responsibility of making capital allocations decisions that provide risk-adjusted returns to their clients well into their retirement. I had the pleasure of sitting across the table from Mr. Vice President and his team yesterday late in the afternoon. I was going to implore Mr. Vice President to do something, but I got the commitment up front, and that commitment is to have a more structured framework for engaging the investor community going forward. So my sincere hope was that the Ministry of Finance would give serious consideration to embedding this type of investor engagement into the ministry's Investor Relations annual calendar. As the Bond Market Association, we remain available to assist government in developing and rolling out its investor relations capability. Our members operate in multiple jurisdictions and have extensive experience in assisting sovereigns in all aspects of capital market development. Your presence here today confirms one thing. We all want a well-functioning bond market that reflects and responds to the needs of all market participants. I hadn't planned to speak about the magnificence of this venue, but I can't avoid it. And I'm tempted to ask the governor for an invitation to come back. I believe you have an event that is imminent, and I'm not on the guest list. But back to my original point, why I'm up here. It's to say thank you to everyone who has made a contribution to making this investor dialogue possible. I wish you all 2 days of robust engagement and productive meetings. Ra leboha.
Pardon me. I was just checking time, so no need to worry. We've had a very short program. I believe it's 9:35. We have a lot to do for the day. Some of us are going back to the labs. As for our Vice President, he has a lot to do. So I hope we've really done justice to this program. But I'm just going to mention a few things. On the 12th of August, when we launched the labs, our Vice President and Minister of Finance said, Botswana Economic Transformation Program is a national call to action. We need to write a new chapter in our economy. Now, our governor, who is our host in this beautiful building, even said we need to move away from a single commodity. All of you here know this better than others. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to be the Director of Ceremonies. You've cooperated very well, and thank you so much. I believe we have tea, and we should be having tea at 10:30 or an hour early, but Bank of Botswana staff are on time. Tea is ready at 9:35, and do have a pleasant day. Thank you very much.